What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On this week's episode, we're gonna be digging into the 58 Coral Red. So I mentioned this car in a couple of previous videos and some things have changed. Originally, it's here to get it running, get the lights going, get it stopping, and just make it a driver. But talking with the owner of the car, he eventually wanted to kind of do not a full build, but you know, get it sitting on the ground suspension wise. So the new plan is we're gonna put a 6-inch narrowed front beam in it. We're gonna do some spring plates in the back, just notched and extended. And we're gonna do a front disc brake conversion. As you can see, I've already got the front end out of it along with the master cylinder. And here's the front end. So in this video, I need to get two things done. I need to get this beam broken down so we could send some parts out for cores to the guy who's building the beam, who's Sam at Valley Auto Works. He built my 58 beam, my Zwitter beam, the beam in the Renault. He builds all the beams and he does a great job. And he's very fairly priced, so we usually just get our beams built by him. But first things first, let's get the brakes off of this thing, suspension, trailing arms, steering box, and what we're looking for is those leaf springs out of the beam, because that's what we need to send out. All right, so we got the beam stripped down to bare bones, and these leaf packs are what we're looking for. We got an upper and a lower. So we're gonna pull these grub screws out, and that'll allow us to slide them out. So we'll just zip tie them all together on one side just to keep them where they need to be. And then if you're sending cores out like this to people, and especially people you like, just clean this stuff up really well for them. There's nothing worse than getting parts that are just dirty and greasy and you gotta clean them and work on them and make a mess. So do the extra work just to do the right thing, basically. So like I said, we're gonna pull this out, get them all cleaned up, we'll get them boxed up and ready to ship out. So as you can see, we have a nice storm coming through, but while it was pouring rain, I got everything soaking. So we have our spring packs we're gonna send out. They'll be shortened and re-drilled for grub screws. I have the trailing arms, which we're gonna use. We're gonna clean them all up, paint them, make them look right. I have all the original hardware in there too, because I like to use original hardware. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel better. And then we have the rear spring plates, which I'm gonna wire wheel just to knock some of this stuff out. And we'll get those sent out. They'll be notched and extended and we'll be sitting pretty. So this stuff is being soaked in purple power. I'm gonna leave that sitting for a while. We'll get the trailing arms cleaned up and we'll get those into paint and we'll see what other nonsense we could conjure up. So it's a couple days later and we've been pretty busy out here. As you can see, the logistics of the shop have changed dramatically and there's good reason for that and it's only gonna get worse. Let me explain. So as you can see, the Zwitter is up and the front suspension is out. Originally, we were gonna go with a 6-inch beam and we ordered all the parts for this car. And my buddy who owns the car did some research and decided he'd prefer a 4-inch beam. I, which you've heard me state before, want to go with a narrower beam on the Zwitter. So I brought it up to him. There's no sneaking around or anything. We decided we'll put the beam from my car in his. He gets what he wants, I get what I want. And it's kind of better for this video because we could just move on. This will be the only video on this car. We're just gonna do from beginning to end. With that being said, a lot of stuff has been happening quickly and the beam is in the car already. As you can see, we're up to the brakes. So the next issue, we went to order a disc brake kit for the front of it. He's gonna be taking this car into town with his wife and his family, so it's best to be as safe as possible. So we wanna put disc brakes on the front. The problem is these disc brakes are on back order until October. I happen to have a set in the Renault, and I know a bunch of people are gonna hate this, but for the last couple of months, have been wanting to go disc brakes in the Zwitter. And my plan was to convert the Renault back to drums and put the disc brakes in the Zwitter. I don't think I've brought it up, but that was kind of the plan. The Renault is a much smaller car. I personally don't have an issue with the drum brakes in these Beetles. And with it being a smaller car, I figured, hey, let me get the bigger car to have the better brakes. So instead of waiting till October to get this car together or doing things twice, I offered to sell him my brakes for the list price. Obviously they've been installed, but they've never been used, as you guys know. And it saved them shipping and tax. So I think it just works out for everybody. I'll put the drums in here. October, when they come back in stock, I'll buy the set with the money that he gave me, and they'll go in the Zwitter. So now that we're all caught up, beam's in, I still have to torque it down. Next up, I'm going to need to build up the drums. I have a set of drop spindles for the Renault right here. And what I'll do is I'll pull the brakes off the front of the Renault. I'll put drums back on. We'll get this back on the floor so it's rolling and kind of right back where it was. And we'll get them put on the Coral. We're doing new master cylinder, brake lines in the front of the car, all the way around, and obviously the rear suspension. I've built these cars up before, so I'm gonna kind of skip around the things I've showed that we just did in the Zwitter and kind of move quickly with it. So we've got the brakes off the Renault onto the Coral. I've also got new tie rods, tie rod ends, steering boxes all cleaned up, new steering coupler, steering dampener. Everything's pretty much buttoned up apart from torquing the beam, which I have to do, and just fold the tabs over, the safety tabs, which will be the next thing I do when I get out here tomorrow. After that, I've got new master cylinder just laying in there. I'm gonna have to bend some new brake lines for the front end. I've got new soft lines, we'll throw those in, and then get the tires mounted and the front can come down. Then we can get on the back. But now that the Renault's apart, it's really the next thing we're gonna be getting on after this Coral's done, because the Zwitter's gonna be down for a little while. But with the brake setup off, it kind of sounds stupid, but there's so much more room in here to finish what we're doing. So that's the bright side of it. And we'll definitely be getting on that next. So we might just leave the brakes off of it for a little while until at least we get the front end all welded up. But we'll be back out here tomorrow and finish up the front end, possibly start the back. All right, we've got the rear end of the Coral jacked up and we have the tires off because if I take you over to my work truck, it's tire day. We have the 4 rims and tires, the 4 new tires, and back here, as you can see, my daily had a blowout, so we have 2 new tires for the front of the all-track. I'm gonna head over to my buddy Seth's house. He lives about a mile away. He has a tire machine, and we're gonna get that going. We're gonna try to save the white walls that are on there and see what happens. I don't know how well they're gonna actually hold up. They're a little dry rotted, but all we can do is try. If not, we'll just mount them without the white walls, and that'll be something for later. Huge shout out to Seth. A lot of these people you see on my channel are just people who saw my stuff outside and stopped by. And these are some of the best people that I've ever met. Paul being one of them, who has turned into one of my best friends. So huge shout out to the community. Let's get started. All right, so we got all 4 tires mounted, which means we could get back on the car. So I'm gonna torque the rest of the front end down, tighten the tie rods up, and then we can get onto the brakes. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've filmed doing anything to this car, but we have been getting a couple of things done. As you can see, I have the master cylinder in, and I bent up a couple of brake lines. The beam's now torqued, steering couplers in, tie rods are all in, and the rear suspension's in. So what we decided to go with was a notched and extended spring plate, also made by Sam at Valley Auto Works. We put new shocks in, new spring plate bushings, got everything adjusted and in. I still need to get the e-brake hooked back up and do a couple of electrical things before the car is done. So I'm gonna get it back on the floor, get it pushed out to where we can bleed the brakes and get started with that. All right, so we put the rag top back where the Coral was, and obviously the Coral is on all 4s for the first time with its new look, and it looks awesome. The only thing I would say is obviously we got stock wheels in the back, so eventually maybe an upgrade to the wheels, but the thing looks amazing. It's got the perfect paint and patina for this stance. But we still got a couple things left to do. I still have to bleed all the brakes and just do some little minor things. I gotta get the headlight switch and windshield wiper switch back in the car. I did test the lights a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember. It was one set of lights that doesn't work. It's either the brake lights or the tail lights don't work. So I'll have to go through all of that. I took it for a quick spin around the yard just to get it back in place, obviously using the e-brake. So it wasn't a great judge of how it's gonna run, but it seemed pretty good. But I don't think the owner's ever even driven the car, so obviously we're gonna have to go just make sure the motor, the carburetor, all that stuff is doing what it's supposed to. I'm gonna have to wait to get some help to bleed the brakes, which will probably be tomorrow or the next day. And we'll take it for a first test drive. All right, so we started power bleeding the brakes. I usually do that just to get the fluid from the front to the back of the car, and it worked. As you can see, we got a leak. So I thought that all of the brake lines had been replaced, and most of them were, apart from the main one that goes from the front to the back, which apparently the owner told me about, but I forget things. So I have one on order, it'll be here tomorrow. So I'm gonna get back on that tomorrow, get that buttoned up, take it for a test drive. In the meantime, I am getting the new Zwitter beam all prepped up. So I have it in some primer. Looks like I missed a spot. I'll get that touched up. Hopefully the weather holds out. I'm gonna get it painted and just try to keep busy until tomorrow. I've already kind of cleaned up the trailing arms, so those will go right in. And then obviously everything else will just bolt right up, but we're not focusing on that in this video. So I'll bring you back when I have the line. All right, just got back from picking up the new line. I'm going with a 3/16. It should work. Obviously, we don't have much metric around here. Next on the list is going to be pulling the old line. I'm gonna pull it off the master, and then if you could see, there's a joint down there where there was a previous repair made. So I'll pull one line forward, one line back. I'm probably gonna make a mess, but that's just the way this goes. So let me get that done. I'll bring you back. We'll run the new line, flare it, get it connected, get these brakes bled. All right, got the old line pulled out. As you can see, this is the area that's all rotted out, which is a pretty common spot right by the T in the back to cross over to the passenger side. I've seen a lot of brake lines rot out there. But we're going back with a copper-based line, so that should eliminate that problem. Let me get it ran. Brake line is ran. John stopped by, gave me a hand. We just busted through it. We also got the brakes bled, which, thank you, John, huge help. Right now, I'm just working on some electric. I have no tail lights, and I found in the back, there's some funky wiring going on, so I'm just working through that. But regardless, if I get that fixed tonight, in the morning, we'll take this thing for a test drive.
From beneath the sand, things can take me across, seem so far away. Across this universe, she lives another day. I know the reason she's hate. I know the reason she's so far away.
All right. So we got the Coral looking good, smelling good, running good. And pretty much that is how you make a Beetle cool in one video. Before we go, I just wanted to mention this company here sent out a couple of these for me and the boys. And this happens often. People send products out and I usually don't say anything about them because I don't use them. And if I don't use them, I don't put them on the channel. This is different. My buddy Chad, he details cars. I gave him one. He hit me up and said that he loves it. I've been using it around the shop to just kind of make up for the air chuck, blowing off the bench, whatnot. I dried a car when I washed it before with it a little bit. It worked great, and for non-conventional things too. I built some ramps with my son and his Matchbox cars, and we used the air to just blow them through the ramp. So we appreciate them, and I think they're giving us a discount code. If so, I'll have it on the screen right now. But I just want to thank you guys for your patience. We are trying to create videos more and more. I told you last time what kind of my deal is, but hope you liked the video, and catch you next time.